Hi guys, so today I wanted to do a little bit of a character appreciation for a character that I really enjoyed in a book that I have picked up this year and thought was fantastic, and that would be Harper from A Curse So Dark and Lonely. While I do this, I'm going to have a little time lapse of a character portrait I did for this character because I really like art and I like doing depictions of characters that I think are great. There are very few for this character despite the fact that this was a very popular book last year, but I think this character deserves it because she is fantastic, and that's just kind of what this video is for. To explain why I think Harper is such a great character, I do have to get a little bit into the premise of the book for those that are unfamiliar. So this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it has quite a few twists that make the stakes incredibly high, and also I think it makes it more relatable and definitely easier to get into, and Harper is a big reason for that. Most of us are familiar with the Beauty and the Beast, where it is a historical fiction setting and then it's a fairy tale retelling sort of thing, and in this case we have a character who lives in our world in present day Washington, D.C., and we have a portal fantasy, so she actually gets taken into this fantasy place. Portal fantasies are not necessarily a new thing to the fantasy genre. There's definitely a lot of fantasy books out there that take someone from our own world and then plop them down in the middle of somewhere fantastical, and generally this is always a good way for us to feel really connected to the main character because they're always really disoriented. They're discovering this beautiful fantasy world, or sometimes this really terrible fantasy world. We get to see all that alongside them. Makes it very easy to take in all of the world building. And I definitely felt that was very true for Harper. But the downside for a lot of books like this is that you don't really get to see the character themselves because they just act as this empty shell for you to experience the world. And that was not really the case I found with Harper, because she is definitely her own person in this story, and she has so much going on in her own life that she misses. She has reasons for wanting to come back to our world, and that immediately I found connected me to her because it made me think about the things in my life that I would want to come back to if I was whisked away to some random fantasy land. Harper's home life is definitely really difficult, and she has so much that she cares about. Her mother is sick, she's terminally ill. Her brother is trying to hold the family together because their father went into a lot of debt, has some loan sharks on his back, and her brother's trying to do what he can to keep the family together, keep these loan sharks away from his little sister and from his mom. And Harper just does what she can to be there for her brother, to be there for her mom. And at the same time, she's always looked at as someone to need protection because she has cerebral palsy. And this is something that this book often gets praised for, is that our main character has a disability. And in this story, it's definitely something that other people often look at her and immediately think that she is weaker in some way or that she is lesser in some way because of this. And she is constantly making it very clear that she is not somebody to underestimate. Her willpower, her resolve, her determination, I found to be something really inspiring about her. And when she first goes into this fantasy land, she definitely wants to go home. She's determined to go home. And to be perfectly honest, as a reader, it's almost frustrating because you want her to just accept that she's there because you've accepted it as the reader. But it's so much more realistic to have her want to do what she can to get home, sometimes to the point of being reckless, putting herself in danger. But that just shows she's willing to do what she has to do for those she cares about. She cares about her mother. She knows her mom is sick. She's worried about her. She's worried about her brother. And she does everything in her power to try and make sure she can get back to them. And I so appreciated that about her. Obviously, this wouldn't be a story if Harper just immediately found a way back home and then got to spend the rest of her life with her family, having an everyday, average teenage girl's life. So she's in this fantasy land. She's kind of stuck there, and she has to deal with this curse that's been on this random prince for a long time, and this has caused so much turmoil in his kingdom, and she's kind of thrust in the middle of all this, and she could just sit in the castle and cry and be sad, but instead she realizes, well, while I'm here, there are people that genuinely need help, and I'm going to help them. She definitely has moments of vulnerability. She definitely still thinks about her family throughout the story, but her desire to see people that need help and just want to help them because it's the right thing to do was so awesome. And she never lets anything get her down. Even when she's in danger, she always is kicking, she's always fighting back. She's also very forgiving of other people, and I think that was something that I really loved seeing in this book. It prevented there being this extreme miscommunication trope that can happen in a lot of books. So she often, when she's discussing something with someone, talking with someone, if they're rude to her or if they seem standoffish, instead of deciding, well, fine, you're a jerk then, she kind of thinks about it and wonders, why are they doing this? Why are they acting this way? I wonder if there's more to it. And then she'll approach them about it and she'll talk to them about it. And it was such a great sign of her maturity, even though she's a young character and even though she is reckless at times, so she's definitely flawed. She also at the same time has this level of maturity that I really liked seeing. Overall, while I found this to be a very gripping and engaging story, and I thought it was definitely a great retelling of Beauty and the Beast, I don't think that this book would have been what it was if not for Harper and the other character Wren as well, but this is kind of like a Harper appreciation. But I just feel that this book, it was made by these characters. I'm definitely a very character-driven reader, and I just wanted to show my appreciation for what I thought was a fantastically written character. If you want more details on the books themselves and not just the character Harper, I do have a book review for both the first and the second. They start off non-spoiler and then they get into spoilers, so if you've read them and you want to talk spoilers, that's where you can hear spoilers from me, because oh my gosh, there was a lot to talk about with these two books. As always though, thanks so much for watching. If there are other characters that you would like me to do this for, leave your suggestions in the comments down below. But anyway, thanks so much. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.